Fair enough. We are. This is the podcast. It's a philosophy podcast.
Oh, philosophy. All
Yeah,
right.
it's called. The name of the podcast is called "Waiting for Death" with Joe Camerota. So I've had a bunch of people on before and stuff. Tons of different people, and these are questions that anyone can answer off the top of their head. You're gonna have the answers ready because it's just very abstract philosophical stuff. Okay, and it's 7 questions total. 7 questions total, and so 7 questions. So the first question is, do you believe in God? And if yes, what is that? And if no, why not?
I believe in some kind of higher force power, but not your textbook Christian definition of God.
Okay.
I believe there's because the idea that this Big Bang just happened and there's nothing behind it, to me is kind of frightening.
Got it.
Like, I like to believe there's maybe it's a Russian doll thing where it's all part of like a bigger universe and stuff. But I like to think there's some kind of somebody pulling the strings somewhere.
I agree. I think there's some design. Yeah. I don't know if that design is omniscient. I don't necessarily think that, but maybe aliens made us or something like that.
Oh yeah, or we're plugged into the Matrix and it's something.
Yeah. But you believe in intelligent design. You believe that there's something that designed all this.
I don't know if they maybe designed it or if they kind of just. It's like they took a bunch of Play-Doh and put it, and then just was like, all right, we'll send you guys on your way.
Got it. So, but an outside force.
Yeah.
Yeah, something outside of push the first domino.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. I dig on that. Next question. Do you believe in the devil? And if yes, what is that? And if no, why not?
Not really. No? Even though I'm such a huge horror fan, that like possession movies are the only ones that legit scare me.
Got it.
Okay. I like it because I believe in. I'd like the devil to be real in a metal sense of like but I mean I don't know.
Got it. Okay. Fair enough.
The exorcism stories are the most fascinating to me.
Got it.
But it's purely from a like Six Flags riding a roller coaster type thing. Like the idea of something like that existing, I think is really exciting.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. The thrill of the possibility. Of the devil from like a metal sense.
Yeah. But the idea that there's like, some fallen angel down there that's, sitting there checking off people's sins. I mean, come on.
Okay, yeah.
Because like sins of what? It's such a big. There's such a broad spectrum.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What happens after you die?
What happens after you die? I like to believe that the spirit leaves and then goes someplace else.
Okay. So you think do you think that memories stay intact or no?
No, maybe when people talk about those like past lives, maybe like in weird flashes or dreams, but I don't know if they really do. I don't think so.
So your consciousness goes, but like you kind of like forget.
Yeah.
And
like
so you're just in a new
some kind
place.
of new being or something like that. Yeah.
Got it. It just kind of like starts over someplace else.
I also wonder if, like say you're somebody like Brad Pitt, where you've had just the best life ever.
Yeah.
It's ideal. Like, if that spirit goes someplace else, like, does the karma of that then put you into the body of somebody that's like a serf born in the Middle Ages, just to make up for the fact that you had one of the most amazing lives.
Got it.
Yeah.
The bingo ball hopper of it all.
Yeah.
Kicks you back out another way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe you reached a certain point, so you get to continue from that certain point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? In the sense of like of ease of getting back to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Yeah, fair enough. But that would definitely take the chaos away. That would make it into an ordered thing.
Yeah, it would. Where everything is pretty much
so
chaos.
it wouldn't be pushing the first domino anymore. It would be a very heavily designed system at that point.
I'm a big proponent of chaos, man. Ever since I saw Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum's character, I was like, that's awesome.
Okay.
That's chaos.
Yeah, definitely. If there was a reincarnation order to it, it would take that chaos element out.
Yeah. Well, that's another great, when you talk about the devil of the whole chaos thing, makes it easier to try to deal with things like, horrific murders or shootings, because you're like, a lot of it is just, like you never know.
The chaos outlook of the universe makes sense to me for that reason.
Yeah.
That there's like tricks you can kind of notice, in the sense that there's patterns you can harness for limited amounts of time. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, like, you might say, oh, things are ordered. This is how I look at it. You might say things are ordered because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But then when you zoom out and you think about all of time, it does that for such a short period of time.
Yeah,
that when
exactly.
you zoom out over the whole thing, it goes to chaos.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, oh, for a bleep minute, it did this thing. But then it kind of seems more like a trick than it does actual order.
Yeah. Like, given the fact
like
that dinosaurs...
a short patterned thing. You know what I mean? So order in this short time period. But then you go, well,
But then you look
that's
at
not
bigger,
order.
it's
chaos when you zoom out. The farther you zoom out, the more
it's
it
the
gets
plastic
that
bag
chaos.
in American Beauty just floating.
Yeah. The more it seems to be chaos, the more you zoom out. Yeah. And or maybe there seems to be a different order when you zoom out. There might be a new type of order, but it would make the order on the zoom in seem less like sense.
Yeah.
For instance, that the order on the zoom out is gravity, the order on the zoom in is quantum physics, and they're very different. You know what I mean? But there's two different orders.
You know what's a surprising philosophical scene from a really goofy movie though? But the ending of Men in Black, where they take the Earth marble and then it zooms out and it's somebody just playing with it with a bunch of other marbles. I like that kind of concept.
Yeah. So there's always a zoom out. I mean, like I said, you can see it in physics. The zoom out in physics is Newtonian physics, and the zoom in is relativity, is Einstein physics. Yeah, and then we'll continue to zoom out or zoom in even more, and new people will come up with new paradigms, dude. As long as the paradigms seem to replicate themselves, you go, okay, we'll go with that for now. Kind of interesting. Have you ever experienced the miraculous or the supernatural? Yes or no? And if yes, what is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've definitely never experienced the supernatural, and I'm one of those people that's on the lookout for it all the time.
Got it.
Loving it, love hearing stories about it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, no, man, I've never experienced
it. The supernatural.
Nothing close. And the building that I work in is pretty old too, and people have said that they've seen things because it's like down in the financial district, just a huge building, and it used to be JP Morgan Chase. People are like, oh, I've seen stuff on the lower floors, and at the same time you're like, man, it's an older building, you hear stuff all the time, there's always a rational explanation. Now the miraculous, I don't know, you do have days where you feel like it's like what Matthew McConaughey says, where he goes like, I feel like the universe is conspiring to keep me happy. One of those kind of days where things keep coming up Snover. But then at the same time too, sometimes you have where everything just seems so frustrated, and I'm like, I don't know if there really is anything like called karma.
Okay, fair enough. All right, interesting. Oh yeah, I think karma kind of. I would say the validation that I give to karma is I think your disposition does kind of create your reality, right? Yeah. So if you're a happier person, you'll end up in happier scenarios and stuff like that.
If you're a piece of shit, you invite other pieces. Whereas if you're nice to people and you do try to, I think that does
your disposition
does
kind of mold your reality in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And it's important to create happy memories, man. It's important to create a happy disposition. It really is, and as much as possible, man. Because like you said, my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and when you get Alzheimer's, you lose your memory, but what stays is your disposition.
My grandfather had Alzheimer's too, and the ladies who used to take care of him would say, "Your grandfather is such a gentleman." And this dude grew up in the 50s and 60s, so he was a legit gentleman if he was that.
Your disposition stays after your memory's gone. It's kind of interesting. So it kind of seems that that's probably what the soul is your disposition and not your memories, which is interesting. Do you believe in love? Yes or no? And you do. You do. Okay. Yeah. What is that?
I think it's something though that's earned and kind of gathered over time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I think of like my parents now, how when I was a kid, you're like, oh man, like you go through that phase of like, you guys are, I don't understand you guys. They're much older than me too. Like my mom had me when she was 40.
Got it.
Dad was 41. So like the level of dissonance, they weren't my friends. They were my parents, and they didn't understand a lot of the culture that I was into. And it's only now that I'm like, oh, I really love these guys. I love coming home and hanging out with them.
Yeah.
You know, you care about, eventually you end up, like the role gets reversed where like, I know they're coming down to the city on Friday and now I worry about them because they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of happens over time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I think when you start dating somebody, the first couple months, it's all infatuation.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about love bombing, but like when you're with somebody for like 25 years and stuff, and eventually, like that's when the love I think really builds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So it's something that comes with time, and something that comes with understanding, I guess you're saying.
Yeah. And then you got the kind of generic version where it's like, I love Italian food kind of thing, but it's like, oh, you just really like it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I've always equated love with appreciation for that reason. I kind of when people go, I love something, I always think they mean I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's kind of always what I thought. You know what I mean? You know, I love this salad, I love this person. It means I appreciate them. Yeah, yeah. Important to cultivate appreciation towards your person.
Oh yeah.
Do you believe in hate? Is there anyone you hate? You know what I mean? Do you think hate has a place? Do you think hate has no place?
So I think some people have that, possess that quality of legit like hate and stuff for their fellow man.
Okay.
But
is there anyone you hate? Do you think there's any?
I don't know.
Healthy. Do you think there's any healthy hate? You know what I mean? Like I mean, honestly, that's a kind of a real question, since like you're supposed to hate evil, right? So it's like kind of like, what place does it have? How would you kind of define that as opposed to love? You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think some people are purists? They go, it never has a place. You know what I mean? Like,
I think when
you
it
have
comes
to always be understing, even towards like evil and stuff. You know what I mean?
But
I don't personally think that.
I don't think
it
that
does
either.
have a place.
Like there's certain like members of society like serial killer and stuff like that where you're like you can't say that hate doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think it's proper to hate certain things, right?
But I think it's misguided.
It's proper to hate evil.
Like Sean Hannity really annoys the shit out of me, but saying I hate him, I think goes a little bit too far.
Yeah, no, right.
Especially when it's like,
fair enough.
I highly doubt the dude believes 100% of what he says. He just knows his audience, and he's dropping it out there to get that group.
Yeah, so there's a certain amount of, I think, understanding in the sense that, to a certain degree, I think what's funny is words are innocuous. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? So there is always, when people are talking shit, there is always a certain amount of, I think that is a little bit ridiculous to hate a person for shit talking.
Yeah.
Actions are something that you should hate a person for if they're doing evil actions.
But then,
what I mean? Shit talking is a little bit, like you're saying, it's a little bit
innocuous.
Like,
but so then you listen to murder podcasts and you'll hear about something horrific and you're like, oh no, I hate that person.
Yeah,
like, that person gives nothing to society, and the world would be better off if they're not there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I reserve my kind of hate.
Yeah, and there is like right. There is people who like very selfishly, for whatever reason, cross over into evil to have that experience, and that's crazy. You know what I mean? To kind of be like, oh, maybe it'll be thrilling. Well, to be
but
the
here's
bad
the
guy,
philosophical question: is are certain people born with that gene, or is it something cultivated only by society?
Right? So are certain people living with voices in their head that are constantly saying to them, if you don't do these evil acts, you haven't experienced being a human. That's a crazy thing to think about, right? You know what I mean? The way a person might, as crazy as it sounds, this is a weird thing to say, but as crazy as it sounds, the way a person might be like, oh, I'm on all the dating apps. There might be somebody else, because they're like, there's a voice in their head being like, you should try to get laid. You're young. Yeah. People think you're hot. You should try to get laid. You wonder if maybe there's serial killers out there with like that. You know what I mean? Like they have a voice in their head. Because I don't have that voice in my head anymore that like I gotta try to get laid. But there was a point where I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of know what sort of like voices in your head are like, in the sense that like, you know, there was a point where I was on all the dating apps and stuff, like trying to get laid years ago. But I definitely had these voices in my head telling me to do that, to be on the dating apps, and I just don't have those voices anymore. So
I got rid of mine after the pandemic.
did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I may try to hop back, but I have enough of an active social life that I hold out hope that I will be able to meet a person in real life.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Same with me. Yeah. That's the same thing. And I just want that to happen.
It's
and so
one thing
I don't.
if you,
I don't like to have casual sex. I'm just not that person. And so in my mind, I'm like, why would I?
I'm down for it if the opportunity presents itself.
It has to be. It has to be something, an adventure. I have to like the person, even if it's casual. I have to like the person. I have to like have an emotional attachment to them. It has to be something where I've like always wanted to hook up with this person. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah. Or I meet someone, you know, like a one night stand type thing, but I really have to like hit it off.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have to like really. It has to be like a magical type of thing in order for me to kind of do a one night stand type thing, you know what I mean? And
see, I feel like if
person.
For me, maybe it's just because I've been in a drought recently, but if I meet somebody and I'm physically enough attracted to them, even if I find them a little annoying, I'll be like, yeah, why not?
Really?
But then the problem happens though.
I'd rather jerk off.
Really? See, but then the problem happens the next day though, when it's like when they wanna continue hanging out, and you have to be like, yeah, sorry, I don't.
Yeah. Dude, and I don't know, man. You're right. And that's the other thing too, right? Like casually hooking up, like invites all these weird problems in that sense. You know what I mean? Of emotions get involved. You know, sometimes maybe a person likes you more than you like them, or vice versa.
Yeah, have you heard about the new study that Gen Z they're having less sex, and they want like less sex in movies, and some people think that it has something now to do with everything that's been happening with the Me Too movement and whatnot, where they're just viewing it as such a complicated thing now that they'd rather just not try to deal with the drama. Part of me gets that.
Yeah.
But,
no, I mean, I definitely don't want a dramatic sex life. So yeah. So humanity might be progressing well in that way.
Yeah, I think like you were saying though, I think it just means if you are going to have one night stand stuff, you really should get to know the person on a deeper level than like, hey, let's just smash.
listen,
just to know who you are.
If I have a night where I really like talk to a person for hours and I'm like, I really love this person, like, you know, then yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
as opposed to like going home with somebody that's really into you, but you could tell they're clearly mentally unstable.
I won't do it.
It's like, yeah,
I just won't do it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I won't invite that into my life
because you're inviting.
If I think a person's hot, but I'm not jiving with them, or I don't think that there's a person that I would want to give a second chance to, if I don't think there's that, I can't. Now, here's the thing: is if I think there's that, and then a few dates later, I'm like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, then I'll just be honest. You know what I mean about that? But I at least have to be able to. And I wasn't always like this. You know what I mean? There was a point where I could just casually hook up. I just can't do it now. Can't. It's gone.
Oh, well, in your 20s, when you're just young, dumb, and full of cum, you're like, yeah, I'm just.
And in my 20s, I wanted to hook up a lot. And I think I was very underconfident too. And so I wanted to hook up a lot because it gave me that reassurance of like, I'm sexy.
Yeah.
And now I've had enough relationships where I don't feel, I feel like, oh, there are people who think I'm sexy. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of
you don't have to prove to yourself that you are.
Yeah, I have those memories of being an attractive person with somebody for long periods of time. And so because of that, I feel like I have value in that way. And so I don't need, like you're saying, I don't need to prove it. It's interesting. All right. Last question. What is enough for you? What would be enough?
Are you talking financially or spiritually?
Whatever it means to you. Whatever that question means to you. That's kind of the interesting part about the question, right? The first thought.
I think enough for me would be financial security.
Okay.
And then meaningful relationships in your life.
Okay.
With people. I think that's I don't know if you really need much more than that.
Financial security and meaningful relationships.
Yeah. Because there's some kind of
agree with that. I think there's a lot to be said for having those two things. For sure. There's a lot of commonness of soul that comes with all those things. And,
Like I've been single
the
for
world's only so big too.
I've been single for a while now, but I have enough friends that are close friends that like I know there's people that would really be devastated if you were gone. Stuff to keep you going when you have like really because
for sure. I have very deep friends that like you just said, they would be devastated if I was gone, and so that really does give me something to look forward to.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of people, man, I have great relationships with immediate family and then like second family, like cousins and stuff. Even if I have a lot of them that we don't, all the cousins on my dad's side, they're all like very Republican and very Christian, and we get along great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Which as a lot of family, you realize, man. I don't.
So
many people.
If I'm in like
drama,
if I don't, I try not bring drama into stuff. I try to just exactly if I have an opinion about something, and I try to negotiate out first with people who have like-minded opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To kind of not tread into but I won't shy away from an opinion either. It's kind of that back and forth and stuff.
Well, some days I try to appreciate that because there's some people that when like Thanksgiving or something is coming up, they're like, man, this is every year it's going to be some kind of huge drama thing with multiple people in the family, and so you kind of take it for.
But I feel like that's two guys who want to fight at a bar meeting each other. You know what I mean? Like that's what that is. You know what I mean? That happens sometimes. And so like truly, if you don't want that smoke, you just don't have to have that smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always see those people that come there and they're like, I'm here for the food and the booze. You know what I mean? Not here for that smoke. I got no opinions. It's easy to be like, I got no opinions. I got no opinions. Keep me out of it. You know what I mean? And people know, I just don't want it. I just don't want that energy. Well, everyone, this has been Waiting for Death, another episode with Matthew Snover, everyone. So, thank you so much.
That's the end of the episode?
Yeah, it's just those seven questions.
The seven questions.
So I try to keep my episodes to like a half an hour just because they're easier to edit and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Anything that I do, I try to keep half an hour, 45 minutes in between there and stuff. You know what I mean? For that reason. But we did it. Matthew Snover. Thank you so much.
We did it.
Yay, Waiting for Death. Another episode done.
Next time we got to come back for you to do the movie commentary.
Yeah,
with
we
the
should.
Projectionist.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that one night. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. That would be fun, actually. We can even get a third person on the couch with a third microphone and do that.
Oh,
have
yeah.
Three people on the couch watching it and stuff. That would be actually funny. That would be really funny. And I have actually I could just use my cell phone as a camera and really do this whole thing. All right. Yay. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.